All right. Hello and welcome to episode 76 of the Rhody Rumble podcast. Today I'm joined by senior guard of the Rhode Island men's basketball team, Malik Martin. Malik, thank you again for taking the time. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm good. I'm good, man. I'm back home. I'm good.
Yeah, congrats on
Yeah.
a great season with the team. I'll start with what you've been up to. You mentioned you're home. Any big plans for spring break now that you have more time?
I'm gonna just stay at home. Spend time with my family. Yeah, take some. I got an online class, so I'll be home for a little bit. But I'm gonna head back up to Rhody, see my teammates a few more times before it's time to call it a quits.
Yeah, 100%. I want to start from the beginning of your career, and then work our way, to this past season. A question I love
Okay.
to start with, for all the guests that I've had on this show is just what motivates you, or what is your why?
My why? Definitely my family. I got three older brothers who all played basketball. Um, my oldest one played at UC Riverside back in 2008. Then I had the second oldest. He went to a NAIA school called Grandview in Iowa. Then got obviously Hassan who went to Rhode Island. So just growing up with them, playing basketball all the time. Learned a lot from them. So like playing basketball was like second nature to me. It just like came to me naturally as a kid, just because I watched my brothers play all the time. And then I got like little brothers behind me who's trying to be Division I basketball players. So then it's also like my parents, like they sacrificed a lot for us to like be in a position that we're in. My mom, she was like a correction officer for 20 years. My dad's an EMT worker. I watched them get up 5 in the morning to work. So we could get what we want as young kids. So my why is really like my family. They all mean something to me for real. So
Yeah, for sure. I think family is just the most important thing, especially in sports. I think it brings together a sense of community, especially when you can't see them, on the road or at college. But you talk a little bit about having a big family, having three older brothers. Growing up in Staten Island, New York, obviously people know your older brother Hassan, two-time A10 defender, or defensive player of the year here at Rhody. Um, you said your love or passion kind of started for basketball from watching them. Would you say going up against them or practicing against them helped you evolve that passion, with your brothers? Or was that something that kind of happened over time? Did you kind of watch the game or study the game, or was it just growing up in that household with your brothers?
I think it was like a little bit of everything. Growing up with them, just talking basketball with them all the time, and then like I would not only play against them, but like play against their friends because I was like outside at the park with them all the time. So then like when I would play against my friends, it would be a little bit easier for me because I was used to playing against older kids. So like even like from a kid, I was like in sixth grade going to like my brother's like junior varsity practices. I was in like sixth grade practicing with them, and I was actually like keeping up. So like the passion just it really just comes from like the household. Like it's nothing but basketball in my house. So
Yeah, for sure. It's funny. I remember we had a press conference earlier in the season where you asked about some of the battles you had. I think it was prior to senior day with Hasi, and you said that that's where you got your toughness from, just from playing against
yeah,
them and practicing against them. And I just thought it was funny because Sebastian like laughed and he was saying that he probably used to kill you. I
yeah,
just thought,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my brother's a big dude, so I mean, that kind of where I got my toughness from growing up with older brothers and stuff and playing with them. But yeah, that definitely played a factor in the success I had on Saturday.
So if that ever comes up again, you're just gonna think back to if I could take hospital.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, definitely.
He used to kill you.
Never, never,
I said his brother probably used to kill him.
never, never.
You killed a lot of
that was funny. Do you have any like memories or stories that stick out from going up against him or some of your older brothers?
Stories that stick out. Mm. Ooh, the top of my head. Oh man, I can't think of one right now. If I got one, I got you. I can't think of one right now, but yeah, it was definitely tough growing up. They used to bully me a little bit, especially when my parents wasn't around. They definitely used to bully me.
Yeah, for sure. I
Yeah.
mean, I think, like you said, though, it made you a tougher player in the end and made you maybe helped you a little bit with your development and get to the stage that you're at right now, growing up and having, three older brothers. And I'm sure you did the same with your younger brother, kind of pushing him a little bit to where he's trying to get right now, and try and, play at the next level at the Division I level. So it's kind of
Yeah,
cool
for
to
sure.
see that come full circle.
For sure.
So moving along, following high school, again, you grew up in Staten Island, New York. You commit to play for Charlotte originally. Actually, one of the
hmm
schools I applied to along with URI. What went into that decision to play there for Coach Ron Sanchez?
So I was a junior. I was like, I hurt my knee my junior year, like February. Junior, like February. I had like mid-major offers, like nothing crazy. I had offers. AAU come, I'm like playing hurt. So like I kind of lose a lot of interest. Like I'm playing hurt. Don't really got much schools going into my senior year. Then I play senior year. I was thinking about going doing a post grad year, and I played the first spring session with New Heights on the Under Armour circuit. I played a spring session. Ron Sanchez had just got the job. I was a little more healthier now because I had surgery junior year. I was a little more healthier. Ron Sanchez seen me play, and he wanted me to he didn't want me to post grad. He wanted me to play with him that upcoming year. I went on a visit, built a connection with him and the staff. Campus was beautiful. I wanted to rebuild with him, uh, but I think it all came down to I didn't really want to post grad. I didn't have many schools that I liked, but when I went on this visit, I was like, oh, this is nice. Then I liked what he said to me. Then I wound up committing on my visit in May. I was actually a late committed in May on my visit, and that was it.
Yeah, it sounds like you were just eager to go and play at the next level and,
Yeah,
and play D1 level. I think from growing up and watching your older brothers play at multiple different schools, you kind of want to just follow in their footsteps, even if that
mhm,
meant going early.
yeah,
And it sounded like from your conversation with Coach Sanchez, he felt like you could come in and make an impact right away as a freshman, and there was sort of that comfortable fit once you stepped on campus. I believe that freshman year you started almost every game as well for
yeah,
them
yeah.
for a rebuilding program, but you ended up playing 2 years there, a lot of success in the Conference USA, including an all defensive team selection your sophomore year. So you continue to trend on the upward. You decide to ultimately transfer to URI. That was before the COVID season 2020. I know you said for the first time you've been to Rhody was in 2013 to watch Haas play. Would you say that was a significant factor in why you chose the University of Rhode Island, or what really allowed you to make that decision to transfer to URI?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, my brother definitely had a lot to do with just seeing how everything worked. My brother obviously had a relationship with David Cox and TJ Buchanan. So like once I entered the portal, I was like I was speaking to them, and then I liked what they were saying. Unfortunately, like it wasn't like what I expected. Like coming in, to be honest, a lot of losses. Was a lot of like drama going on, stuff that didn't need to happen for real. But everything happens for a reason. I'm still grateful for the opportunity. I still got love for Coach Cox, Coach Buchanan, all of them. You know, but yeah, my brother he had a lot to do with it. I just like the love this school gives is like it's special. Then it also was I did want to be a little closer to home, and I did want to play at a higher level than Conference USA. At the time, but yeah,
Yeah, and I think something you said there is just the love you get from URI. You see that on and off the court, players coming, or excuse me, the fans coming to road games, whether that's this game in St. Louis or down in the tournament in
mhm,
Brooklyn. Really just what you get from the community, the URI community, online at games. It's something that, from what I've talked to a lot of your teammates and a lot of former URI players, it's a big reason why they come here. It's a small state, but it's a big community of people that rally around you, even when the program is going through some of those lows. But as I mentioned, you transfer in before that 2020 season. Things were a little rocky for the program, as you mentioned at the time, and it definitely got harder as time went on. But can you
Mhm.
share, what it was like at the time? I can imagine it was difficult to enter a new school, a new team. There were no fans in the arena, and obviously the team wasn't winning as well. So how did that affect you? And what is the biggest lesson you learned from that experience?
And it was hard because it was like we had so much talent, but like we couldn't gel. Like it was just, we couldn't gel with each other. We couldn't gel with the coaches. Like nothing was like going right. Like, and
Yeah,
like I knew it. I knew it. I knew it when I knew it a couple months in. I'm like, I don't know. This isn't what I signed up for. But I had to like stick with it. But it was hard to come in every day and practice. Like it was hard. It was a point where it wasn't fun. Like it was a point like I didn't want to play. I wanted to go home. Like I wasn't happy. Like then with COVID, like it was no fans. We couldn't go home like for Christmas, spend time with your family, stuff like that. So I was here for months and months. Family couldn't come to games. So like it was bigger than basketball as well that year. Things was real rough. It was real rough.
yeah. I had the opportunity. I was a sophomore at the time, but I had the opportunity to call two of the games for the student run radio station. I think it was the Fordham game, with which I think we actually ended up winning, and then the VCU game, which was Bones Highland hit like a game winner pretty much to ice it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was tough. Even in the games that we were winning, it was frustrating to see because it was me and a bunch of cardboard cutouts and a couple of other people. It was kind of frustrating to see the Ryan Center like that because the year prior, my freshman year, I mean things were looking great. I mean if you kept up with URI, big wins over VCU, Alabama. I mean the only thing really standing in their way was Dayton, and Obi Toppin at the time. But um, I think the pandemic didn't really help, like you said, with the situation. I think, like you said, the talent was there and you didn't sign up for that. And then, of course, pandemic happens. And I mean, there's not really much you can do. And the whole nation, the whole world is going through something like this. But what would you say you learned from that experience? Was there something that you took away from COVID or just playing that year?
That specific season or like COVID, like that specific season, like
Yeah, yeah, like the
uh,
2020 season in general.
I would say like nothing is perfect. The grass isn't always green on the other side. Me transferring and then it's just like no matter what, you you kind of just got to keep pushing through. You just got to keep pushing through, and eventually things gonna fall into place. It might not be like right then and there, but you just got to keep pushing through. And I would say like character is like more important than anything. Like to me personally, like character, like you had like to deal with that year, like what I deal with, what we dealt with as a team. Like you got to have some type of character, some type of humility to deal with it because there was a lot going on, and it was difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
That's what I learned from that year, and it helped me throughout my career after that.
Yeah, 100%. So after having Coach Cox for 2 seasons, we transitioned to this past season, your senior year. Your third head coach in college, Archie Miller, joins the program. Can you talk about the difference in coaching styles between Coach Cox and Coach Miller? And then also to add on to that, how did you how did you know you wanted to spend your senior year back at URI? What was something that Coach Miller and this new coaching staff might have told you in the offseason that really told you wanted to come back and play your last year of eligibility in Kingston?
Yeah, I would say Coach Cox is more like he's like laid back. He's calm, he's laid back. Uh, uh, Good dude though, good dude. Archie is like he's real, like he's fired up. He sprints into practice, like stuff like that. He's fired up. But I would say that's the biggest difference between the two. One's like calm, collective. The other one's just fired up, energetic, ready to go. But and I so from jump, I didn't want to leave Rhode Island. Like I just entered the portal like because I wasn't sure if Archie would want me, and I would like never play for a coach who doesn't want me. That was just me. I would never so, but I didn't know him at the time, so I just entered. We didn't have a coach at the time, so I entered. I didn't know how long it was going to take to get a coach, so I just wanted to weigh my options. Archie got the job, and he called me. He texted me about 10 minutes after it released, and I think after he did that, I knew he wanted me. He texted me, said he needed me, and we'll talk soon or whatever. Spoke on the phone. He said there's no promises on how good we're gonna be, but he wants me to be the starter. His him rebuilding Rhode Island. He knows a lot about me. He heard good things about me, and he really wanted me to stay. I talked to my family about it. We spoke about it, and I decided to stay. Um, and that was it right there.
Yeah, and it seemed like from the go, at least from what he was telling the media, that he really respected you, and Ish and Jalen and a couple of other pieces. He made it clear who he respected as the seniors or the leaders, or really the key voices in the locker room. This past season, you had to deal with injuries on the team, a COVID stint at one point, which we thought we put that behind us, and then of course it happens, and it comes up in the program, close games that came down to the wire. And then, of course, a roster of underclassmen. Again, I think Coach Miller put it perfectly. There's no promises on how good we're going to be in year one of rebuilding. But how did you think your relationship grew with him throughout the season? And also, how were you able to step up and when things weren't going as planned, or when, locker room morale or the team morale was down? How did you evolve into one of those leaders and kind of, fire up your team?
I think our relationship was built a lot like during the summer and workouts. Like he does a good job like giving his players confidence, you know. So just being on the court with him a lot, he really wants you to be the best player you can be. Like he really wants to win, and like I think that's where we're similar in a sense. Like I'll do anything like to win. Like I'm a real competitor, so like when he gets fired up competitive, like that kind of gets me going. And to see how much he wants to win, like I got nothing but respect for him. Like that was like the best thing I liked about him, to be honest. But it was my bad. What was the second question? My bad.
Yeah, just how you dealt with, when things weren't going as planned for the program, how you stepped up and kind of gave, some of the underclassmen or just the rest of the team some motivation to look ahead and just have that next game mentality.
I just think if it wasn't me, I don't know who it was gonna be, because like I've been in college 5 years, I've seen everything. So the season is long. Like we didn't have the success we wanted, but like it was always possible. Like we were in every game, we just couldn't break through. So I just had to like in them tough losses, I just had to be the one to tell them like, yo, we got to come in tomorrow and practice hard, so we at least have a chance to win next game. Like we're struggling right now, so if we don't practice hard, we're gonna lose by 30 tomorrow.
Right.
Like we got to at least practice hard, keep going hard, keep listening to the coaches. So when the game come, we at least have a chance to win the game. As you see, we lost multiple games by 1 or 2 possessions. Like last 4 minutes, just things just didn't go our way plenty of times. But I think it definitely I think it helped me like grow as a leader, as a person. Dealing with all the losses we dealt with as a senior, for someone like me who like just wants to win, like it was hard to deal with. But for the most part, like I was able to stay level headed, and I enjoyed the process too. Like I wouldn't say like it was miserable. Like yeah, losing is miserable. But I wouldn't say like it was like depressing. Like I went into practice every day with the same energy, win the games, win the games, wanting to win every game. So it was definitely not like a life lesson for me. Like it was big, like much bigger than basketball for me.
Yeah, going back to character, I think that says a lot about your character. Many college athletes with 1 year of eligibility remaining, they want to go to the big dance and they just want to win. And they'll go to a Power Five conference. They don't care about, URI royalty, having a brother there, or, your past with the school, because it's their last chance. It's their last chance to win. They want to make March Madness. For you, when the team does start to see some of that success under Coach Archie Miller, although you won't be there, you paved the way, you and Jalen and even Ish. Hopefully he will be there maybe towards the end of his career when we start to see some of that success. But you guys paved the way for, the future of Rhode Island Rams. When there's future players who, commit to the program, it must feel nice or rewarding to say, I kind of did that. That was me who did that. And I think that's something you should be proud of, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
So I have three more questions or a couple more questions before we get into senior day and just what's next and everything. Do you have a favorite memory that stands out from your time at URI, maybe on the court, and then if you have one off the court as well, maybe a road trip or something funny in the locker room, anything that comes to mind just when reflecting on your time at URI?
Favorite memory on the court at URI. Ooh, that's a tough one. Favorite.
No, I know it's some tough times, but there's got to be, one or two that really stands out.
I would say my first year here was 2020, 2021. That overtime game was Dayton. That was a good one because that was a tough game. We really gelled that game. I enjoyed that game a lot. And then Ish played. He had 20 that game. He was killing that game. That was a good game right there. Probably that one. And then I would have to say, I'm trying to think memories, man. Oh man, I think about them all the time. I'm stuck right now.
You got a good story off the court or anything like that?
Off the court? Ooh, off the court.
Anything from this past season that you wanna tell the fans who may be watching at home who followed along the program?
Oh man. Off the court it'd probably be Cayman Islands when we was on the jet skis and stuff. That was a good time right there. We was all on the jet skis having fun and stuff in the Cayman Islands, in the pool, in the beach, all of that. That was probably that's one off the top of my head that was fun to do. That was a good memory right there. My bad, I don't got a good story for you, but
it's all good.
Trying to think. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it was fun times, man. Besides the losing, it was fun times for sure.
For sure. And I think that's one of the perks of being a college basketball player, being able to take part in some of those preseason non-conference tournaments, going down to the Cayman Islands and other things like that. Something you won't forget. Who's your go-to roommate, on road trips?
Definitely Ish.
Ish?
Definitely Ish, yeah. Ish. For sure.
Did you have someone you sat on the bus with too, or who was like the character of the bus or something?
Nah, I had my own row on the bus.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
That's the seniority talking then.
Yeah, I had my own row on the bus.
Who's the funniest guy on the team, real quick?
Jalen, Kyrie, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stories
Jalen,
about him or anything?
Nah, those stories were, but it's either Jalen or Alex, one of them.
Okay.
One of them two. Those two was hilarious. So I'm not gonna lie. It's one of them two though.
All right. And then one more question that just came to mind, then we'll finish up with two or three more here. But favorite Coach Miller memory from this past season?
Oh man. Archie Miller. That's a funny guy. Oh man. Ooh. Oh man. Dang. I'm trying to think. Funny.
Walk me through a typical practice with Archie Miller.
So the coach's office is upstairs. He sprints down full speed. Practice if practice at 3, he could come down at 2:15. He can come down at 2:59.
Okay.
It could be 2:15. And he's like, "Where's everybody at?" We like, some people just got out of class.
Yeah.
We like, he's like, "All right, let's get some shots. Let's get some shots up." He'll put you through a full workout before practice. Him and the managers. Then we start with a full court drill. And he's pumped up, trying to get us. He's just pumped up. He's pumped up. He's pumped up. But the whole practice, he's just fired up. That's the best I can give. He's just fired up the whole practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Everybody,
Hmm.
it's funny because he reminds me, it sounds like you're describing him a lot like Dan Hurley was, but he was obviously so animated. And you see a little bit
Hmm.
of that from Miller on the sideline, but it's just funny because you look at Coach Hurley and you look at Coach Cox, and one guy who's just so energetic and just a ball of energy, and another guy who's a little bit more on the quieter side. And then I feel like he's a good combination of both. I feel like he
Hmm.
can be really quiet, and he could sometimes he doesn't really give a lot to the media, and sometimes he's been more open, and he'll be the 100% he's always honest. He always will
Yeah.
tell you what happened, why things didn't work out. But I feel like he's a good like middle or a good combination of Coach Hurley and Coach Cox. I can kind of see a little bit of both of them in him.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
So like I said, I have three more questions for you. Can you just talk a little bit about senior day? Obviously, there was a lot of emotion in the air, with your family in attendance. And then also that game in Brooklyn. It was a short stint there, during the conference tournament. But what was that like to kind of have your last homecoming in college, and again having family in attendance?
Yeah. So senior day, uh, it was a lot. Like for me, like I was just, I was, I feel like yesterday I was at my brother's senior day. It was actually, it was crazy. Like my brother's senior day was the same day, but 6 years. So I was like, dang, that's crazy. But I just remember, like I was telling the media, I was in the crowd. I went to both Providence games in the Ryan Center, and when my brother was there. I was at the Nebraska game when they stormed the court. I was at the VCU and Dayton battles. I've been there, you know, and that I watched him groom my brother to become the player he is today, be as successful he is. So, it was just the love I got for the school. That's what really made it a lot. But unfortunately, we didn't play well. We didn't get the win, so it was a tough one. But wish it was a different outcome for the last one. But side. But Brooklyn, yeah, it was good. I had about 30 people there.
Hmm.
It was fun. Like I love playing in front of my family. Like I love playing at Fordham. My family even comes to the Philly game, St. Joe's LaSalle, because that's only like an hour and a half for me. So like I love playing in front of my family just because they don't get to see it often, especially when my little brothers is there. 'Cause I know like they be watching like my every move. They gonna criticize everything I do. So like I like playing in front of my little brothers especially, and my three uncles too. Like they gonna criticize everything I do, but I love playing in front of them. But in Brooklyn, it was a tough game. We didn't rebound well. I think that's what it was. I thought towards the end of the season we was starting to like get fatigued a little bit. Had some people playing heavy minutes, but yeah, it was fun. I was telling everybody like before the game, like if I'm a loser, like I'm happy. I'm happy my last game was at home. Like that after the game, I was able to talk to my family after the tough loss. That was the best feeling in the world. So usually you just go back to your dorm, you got to FaceTime them. But I was able to talk to them face to face after the loss. That was a tough one though. That was emotional for me. The Brooklyn losing in Brooklyn in front of my family. That was a tough one.
I think it showed too. I remember watching that game. I think it was on CBS Sports against LaSalle, and when you checked out with just I think about a minute or two remaining, they showed you on the bench, and you could see the emotion. You kind of look up into the crowd. What was going through your head? Were you looking at your family? Were you kind of just how were you kind of taking it all in at the time that it's
Yeah,
the end?
I was just taking everything in. Like, dang, it flew by. 5 years flew by. It's crazy. I was taking everything in. It was crazy. Like, you know, like
Yeah.
I was talking to my parents, and I used to always be like, I can't wait to go to college. Can't wait to go to college. And now it's like, dang, I wish I could go back a little bit, slow down a little bit. You know.
I feel you. For me, I'm a senior as well. I'm graduating in May, and I've been doing like student radio and this for 4 years, 3 or 4 years now. So it's crazy. I remember the last game against Davidson. They put me on the call for it because I'm one of the seniors, and I just remember like even though the game didn't go the way that you guys had anticipated. For me, I kind of not to take away from your guys' senior day, but I was like, man, this is it, man. Like I don't have any more games in the Ryan Center. I mean, I have a couple of games for baseball and softball until I graduate, but this is it. Like, and I was getting a little emotional too. I was like, wow, like, I kind of watched. My dad went to URI, and I'm from Long Island, so I'm not really, anywhere in New England, but I've grown up a Rhode Island fan. I watched, your brother play and those times during Dan Hurley, and then going to URI, and then kind of taking on this path and this career, and then after that last game, I'm like, wow, so that's it. What now? So
Mm.
kind of transitioning back to you for a minute. I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, what's next for you? Do you want to go and try and play pro, or are you gonna kind of see what the coaching, career or role is like? What's your plan? What's next for you?
Yeah, right now I'm looking to get into coaching. So I'm looking for some grad assistant spots. Um Even looking to if it's I know it's hard touching the NBA, like in terms of the coaching world. But yeah, I just want to help people. Like I love watching basketball. I feel like I'm pretty smart when it comes to like knowing the game and stuff like that. Like I could watch basketball all day. But yeah, that decision had a lot to do with like my body, 2 knee surgeries, stuff like that. And then I don't know. I just think it was time. I just think it was time. I would have to go overseas. Obviously, I don't think that's something I want to do. So um yeah, I think I'm getting a coaching. That's what I want to do right now. I'm still 22, so you
Right.
never know. But right now, like I do want to get into coaching.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny you say that too, because I remember there was a press conference earlier in the season, maybe during the regular season, or during conference play, the beginning of conference play. I think someone asked about you and your leadership and to Archie, and Archie said like I can see him being a coach. One day he's come to me about it, he's asked me about it, and I just think he exactly what you said. He wants to continue to watch the game and try and help, pass it forward and try and help younger players developing. Would you say that having, a team this year in your senior year full of underclassmen, a lot of freshmen, sophomores, did that kind of help you? And did you get experience kind of mentoring and showing a lot of those younger guys, a little bit of your game or a little bit your style, even though you were one of their teammates playing on the team as well? Did you feel like you kind of helped out a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. Because a lot of times, like being older, this with anything, like no matter what it is, like you get yelled, you get frustrated or mad at like younger kids at stuff. But then like I had to realize like they just don't know. Like it's not like sometimes they don't do it on purpose. They don't the way they react to things not on purpose. They just don't understand or don't know. So like I was always there to tell them like, no, he's yelling at you because of this. No, he subbed you out because of this. It wasn't because of this. And then that and then one and now I respect this team because like they had a lot of respect for my voice because like they knew it wasn't to disrespect them or it wasn't to embarrass them. Like I was genuinely trying to help. Like that was my whole thing. I was genuinely trying to help. So like none of them like ever took what I said personal. Like they all listened to me. Like I was never someone like who like knew it all. But if I do know, I'm gonna tell you. If I don't know, I won't say anything. But yeah, that's my whole thing. A lot of the younger dudes on the team, they just didn't know, and I was just there to help them through everything.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people need to understand that, a lot of fans especially, or even some people in media don't understand that a lot of these kids are just playing they're just getting their first taste at college basketball, their first couple games, in the A10 or just against any, collegiate team. And they, like you said, they don't know. And, for you, I'm sure you had those mistakes and you had someone kind of in your ear a little bit telling you, here's what you got to do. Here's how you do that better. Here's how you correct this or fix this. So to have someone a little bit older to kind of, mentor you and kind of push you a little bit, I think that goes without saying. And I think a lot of those younger guys, like Lou and like Rory, and a couple of the other, newcomers to the team, I think they're going to be better players come junior, senior year because they had you and they had Jalen and Ish, kind of pushing them a little bit to get better and to kind of clean things up a little bit. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's definitely like what to come full circle, what Archie said, we want to bring you in so that you can be, one of the leaders to kind of kickstart this new era of Rhody basketball. So that's pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
Last question I have for you, Malik. Do you have a message to, the Rhody fans who may be watching this interview at home, or just anything you want to leave out there for any URI fans that, you want to thank anyone, or do you have anything else left to say to the fans?
It was a fun ride, man, through the storm, through the ups and downs. Stick with Archie, man. He gonna get it done. Just stick with him. Might not be next year, might not be the year after. It's coming soon though. He got it in him. He's gonna go recruit what he needs to recruit, and I got confidence that he's gonna get the job done and get Rhody back to where it was, how it was under Dan Hurley. That's my message to them. A lot of people want to rush the process and not understand that it was year one. He came in late, So I just want to say, just stick with the program. And I want to thank all the fans and the coaches, the athletic directors, academic advisors, all my teammates, everybody. Y'all helped me be the man and the person I am today, along with my family. It was y'all too, That's all I got to say.
I appreciate it. Again, you always have a home in Kingston, and the Rhody faithful, they love you and your family too, and everything that your family has given back to URI and Rhode Island basketball. But like you said, it's a matter of time, just patience, stick with the program, and hopefully, we'll be in the big dance sooner than later, or even making a push in the conference tournament. Congratulations on everything you've accomplished in your career. I know there's still more on the way. I'm looking forward to maybe having an interview like this again with you in a couple months, and kind of talking with you a little bit about your next chapter and what you got coming your way. But best of luck. And of course, go Rhody.
Yep. Thank you.